Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of our podcast, Is Breakfast Included? If you're a fan of TikTok like myself, you've probably run across the videos or the TikTok videos of today's guest, just Knate. I'm very skeptical when I see videos of people handing money or things to the less fortunate and then filming themselves. I'm very skeptical about that. When I first saw Knate's videos, I was in the same boat. But Knate is someone who really literally puts his money where his mouth is when it comes to helping out the less fortunate, the unhoused. He immediately won me over. I reached out to him and didn't hear back. And then one day I woke up with an email from him and he agreed to do the podcast. He told me this was his first podcast he's ever done, which was very flattering. And in it, he just explained why he does what he does and how he does what he does. It was a great conversation. It was really important to me. I know last week's was really cool, but this week's was really important for me to do. I hope you take the time to listen and hear what Knate's all about, and maybe we can all help out. Let's check it out. So tell everyone who you are.
Well, I'm just Knate. I got a large following on TikTok and spreading out on other platforms as of now. And I help people in need.
Right on, man. A little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I actually grew up in Southern California. I was born in Arcadia, California. But then I moved to Reno about 5 years ago. And Reno as a town just really grew on me. And I liked it a lot. And so I really settled in. And as time went on, I really became myself, found my calling, and really just following my passion right now here in this town that I've made an awesome home for myself, and the community really appreciates everything I do, and overall it's been so welcoming and really cool. It's a great place to go home.
Right on, man. What did you do before this?
Oh, well, I worked at Vistaprint, if you're familiar with that company.
Yeah, the cards, right? The business cards?
Yeah, they do business cards and stuff. I was actually a quality inspector there for a while, and that was okay. It was a cool job, but it just wasn't what I really wanted to do. And I've always had a passion for helping people. But a lot of times, if you're working a regular job and you spend your spare time going out and helping others, or your extra money, sometimes that can turn into your actual bills or your food or whatever. And next thing you know, you're running yourself real tight. And that's not always a good experience. I wanted to find a way where I could just do this and I could just help people. That's like really what I want to do. So this is how it started and where we're at.
Okay. So that's what led you to start this mission of the whole Just Knate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it. I get asked this question so much. It's just how I started or what made me do this. And there's a job I moved to Reno for. It didn't exactly work out. And at that time, I was kind of tight on funds, and I just signed a lease. And but as I said, the city really grew on me, so I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to give up. I really wanted to do whatever I could, and I knew that I didn't have much, and I could be, as they say, 1 or 2 paychecks away. And at that moment, I didn't have any more paychecks coming in. So I saw these people that are standing out there holding their signs, and I just thought, one, I could be one of them before I know it if I'm not careful. 2, I wonder what their story is. I wonder how they got to where they're at. I'm sure, there's something more there than what a lot of people assume. And I just, I wonder how I could kind of share that with people or find out and obviously offer some help see what else I could do. And that just kind of became a thought in the back of my head for a while. At that point in time, like I said, I was struggling a little bit. Things got a little tight, but I had a home, I had a car, I had drive, and I didn't give up. And I got out there and I did Uber Eats and DoorDash, and I signed up for all of them, man. Postmates, Grubhub. I was on all of them, and I did what I could, and I was making like $900 a week doing that, but I was working like 6 12-hour days driving around delivering food. But I saved myself and then ended up finding that job at Vistaprint. So that went, that overall worked out really well. But like I said, in the back of my mind, I just had that thought, and it just kept kind of simmering there. And then, COVID happens, and things are getting really tough, tight, and the economy going where it's going, and inflation, and the lack of affordable housing, and the housing market and what it's doing. And I'm just like, man, a lot more people are probably going to end up in, tough predicaments and out there on the streets. So maybe this is the better time than ever to really find a way to help more people and get more prepared. And this is my weird way of prepping for bad things to come. I don't know for sure if anything is, but at the same time, why not prepare? I see all these people out there saying your shortages are coming, this is coming, whatever. And my way of preparing is to go out and help other people, and just do what I can. And that's where a lot of this started. I watched a lot of people on YouTube, and they were interviewing people. They were doing other things. Some of them would help some people here or there. And I liked it, and I thought it was cool. And my girlfriend was always on TikTok, always. And at the time I was like, man, you're just sitting there watching that for like 3-4 hours straight. Like, come on, and then I hopped on it myself, and I was like, you know what? Oh, these people are doing things that are kind of like what I want to do. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of like it. I mean, interesting. So, there's something there. I could really chase this. I could do this. This is a way in which I could turn helping others into a movement, and into inspiring other people to help more people, and use social media for good to actually create some change. And I was like, wow, that's it. That's what I got to do. I don't care how I'm going to do this. I got to do this. There was no going back. That was something that happened to me when I was at work one night, and I was just so excited, and I couldn't think about my regular job at all for the rest of the night, because I just kept thinking about how I could start and what I could do. And these other guys are running around giving out a bunch of money, or buying people these spending a lot on stuff for people and whatever, and I'm just me, and I don't have really anything. I'm just I all I can do is pay my bills and live my normal life. I don't really have anything extra. I don't even have anything fancy or whatever. So, how could I start this? And I was like, well, I remembered back to what I was doing when all of this thought process started, and it was doing Uber Eats and delivering food. And it's like, well, I still have the app. I still, I could just turn it on. I could go out. I could spend 5 hours or so and see what I make. And at the time I was like, I remember I used to make like $25 an hour doing that. Okay. So I could do this for this many hours, and I could have this much to go help people. That'd be great. And for whatever reason, when I went out to do it again, I was lucky if I made $15 an hour. And I was like, well, that's a little different than I expected. Doesn't matter. This is it. This is what I'm doing. There's no going back. So I did that for about a month, and just took whatever I made to help people. And I was scared for sure that people were going to ask for way more than I could provide. And I'm like, that's going to be tough. How am I going to say no? And I'm a big overthinker.
Yeah.
But I just said, just have faith, go into this. and see what happens. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens. Don't create problems that aren't there yet. So, I just went and people would ask for so little. People would just want a cheeseburger or some socks or maybe some shoes from Walmart that are only $15 anyway. And I was like, whoa.
Did that surprise you how little people were asking for? Like, hey, this is all I want, really.
Yeah, it did. It really surprised me, and it made me realize like that, this was 100% possible, and I could do this, and it was within the means of what I was making from just working, 5 hours a day or 2 a week, doing DoorDash, Uber Eats, and then going out all day, sometimes 2 days, helping people, and getting them things they needed. And it was easier back then because I wasn't getting as much, so I could do more in less time. Mm-hmm. But I always wanted it to grow. I always wanted it to become more and more and more. And I still do. I still have plans to turn this into something much larger where I can really help people. And I mean, now it's like getting people off the streets is the coolest thing ever, I think. And whatever I can do to help that, as long as they're ready, because it is a two-way street. And I mean, I can line everything up, but I can't go work for somebody.
Yeah.
So, I can do everything along the way and line it all up and get things going for people, and be that helping hand to help them move forward. But, it's a two-way street. So it just grew. And after about a month, people started contributing. I just left my Cash App and my PayPal and stuff in the bio on my TikTok, and I didn't think much would happen. I was like, whatever. I saw other people have it there. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And after about a month, I started getting pretty good contributions. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but $10 here, $20 there, whatever, and it just kept adding it up. And I'm like, whoa, this is more than I could make from doing Uber, DoorDash, or anything like that. Now I can actually offer more. Mm-hmm. Now when they, maybe I can get someone a room for the night, or maybe I can get them gas or whatever, the options are really opening up here. And I thought it was just amazing. And that was another interesting part about the transition, is that when I ask them what they need, and they don't ask for a lot, now I'm in a position where I have to kind of encourage them and let them know that no, whatever you need, I can help you. Just let me know. And if it's ever a request, it's I can't buy you a new car. I can't go buy you a house. But if you need tires for your car, we might be able to go find some used ones for not to, a decent price, a couple $100. And that's something where I could help you. Or you need a full tank of gas and you need some food and some socks and this or that, I can do that. So, that's where it's grown to now. We're like 6 or 7 months later. Now I can offer a lot more. And there's times where people ask for things that are really up there, and it's just hard for me to say no. And it's so crazy that when that happens, there's just donations just all of a sudden kind of happen or come through.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. Whenever it gets really tight and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this next thing, or if I spin this to help this person with this bill or whatever it is, I'm not going to have anything for the next one.
Yeah.
I do it. I do it and more comes. And I just had faith throughout the whole process, and everyone's been there and been supportive and enabled me to continue doing it the way I do. And it's just beautiful. And I don't know. There's so many really cool stories and things that I've ran into along the way. It's been a fun ride, and I just can't wait for where it's going to go. It's so cool.
Well, like your girlfriend, I got addicted to TikTok during the pandemic, and that's where I saw you. And I saw other videos, and I think I told you this before I hit record. I'm not a naysayer or skeptical, but anytime I see someone helping out less fortunate or somebody who needs a little more, there's always a camera going, and there's always like, make sure you get the right angle of me. So when I saw your first videos, I thought, it's another guy. But I can't help but watch those videos. And I'm of the mindset that always look for the people that are helping. And you after watching a couple of your videos and just even your name, just Knate, like you don't let anyone know who you are. You're genuine. And I felt that, and I just got kind of hooked and watching it. And I became just kind of like, I felt like I was right there with you, even though I'm not, because your videos and these deeds that you're doing are genuine, and you can tell that you're not doing them like, to get a pat on the back, and you're not thumping your chest going, look what I'm doing. You're actually out there helping people. And I'd like to talk about in a few minutes, William and Sandra, which really got me. But do you ever meet any resistance from the folks you're helping? When you walk up to somebody, do you ever meet resistance like, I don't need your help or anything?
I've had a few. There's been a few times where they're stubborn and they don't, or I don't think stubborn's the right word, proud, whatever it may be. And there, like one instance, there was this guy in a wheelchair that was in the middle of the street, and he couldn't see my camera or anything like that. And I just ran up behind him and tried to help him get out of the street. And he immediately yelled at me and told me he was fine and he doesn't need any help. And I'm like, these people are trying, they have a green light. They're trying to go. I don't want you to get ran over. Please let me help you. And he yelled at me again, I'm fine. And he was just, that was hard to be like, I did end up just like kind of like talking to him and trying to calm him down somewhat, but at least get him out of the way so he wouldn't get ran over. Mm-hmm. But he still kept kind of yelling at me and being frustrated with me. So at that point, I just, okay, I respect what you're saying, even though it's really hard. I want to help.
Yeah.
And I had to walk away. And that there's been, that's probably the worst one. I definitely get people who don't want to be on camera. I explain what I'm doing and what's going to happen here and what the camera's for and things like that. And if there's ever any, I don't want any part of that, I'll remove it and I'll just ask them, well, no camera at all. Is there anything you need that I can get for you? What can I do to help you out? And there's been many times where I do the same thing I do on camera off. Mm-hmm. And there's even been times where people, after they kind of hear about me through other people out there and they hear about what I did for their friends or other people they know, they start, they go, well, actually, no, I'd be more than happy that you're doing something good and you're not here to make fun of us or make us look bad. You just want to help. And no, I'm all now that I know who you are, what you do, I'm all good with it. Which has been really interesting. But yeah, I mean, Reno's not that big a town, so
no.
The word is spreading.
Do you ever get any flack from the police or authorities? Like, hey, don't encourage, don't do this. Do you ever get any of that?
I have not. I thought that it could happen. I don't know. I had a conversation with a security guard the other day. I gave a guy a bunch of stuff, and it was like I gave him a tent, a mattress to sleep on, a sleeping bag, a backpack with socks, and a bunch of hygienic items, stuff like that. Those are things that I usually carry around. So I gave that stuff to him, and the security guard was kind of hassling him in this parking lot, thinking he might have stole that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I approached the security guard and explained, and I was like, I'm in the middle of giving this to like 2 other people right now. So like that stuff came from me. You can see it all in my car. And the guy was like, oh, no. I know now, man. Don't worry about it. And like, I support what you're doing, man. What you're doing is great. That guy once in a while can be a hassle. So I had to make sure. Okay, cool. No worries. But nothing with the police. Nothing with the police yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Do you, you mentioned you want to start a movement earlier. Is it easier to do this rather than wait for politicians or state authorities to help these guys, these folks? It's easier to put the
Well,
word out the way you are, and maybe someone will take the ball and go, you know what? What Nate's doing there, I want to do it in my town, rather than wait for, what's not going to happen.
I think so. I think at the end of the day, we as people working together can do the most. Waiting on other officials or whatever to come through and do something and then go, well, it kind of works here, but it doesn't work there. If we can do it and, we're still allowed to, why not? Let's do it. Let's band together. Let's make this world a better place. And, the biggest thing is, again, back to COVID, everybody stopped talking to each other. Everybody stopped hugging each other. Everyone stopped giving handshakes. It turned, everyone was living behind their screens, and we need to kind of come back from that still, I think. And what I do, I feel, is just a way to encourage that, to offer a hug or a handshake or a conversation to anybody. It doesn't have to be a person that's homeless out there. It could be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Even, that stressed worker at the fast food restaurant you're going to, or the waitress that you think is not doing a great job. You don't know what she's going through at home or what just happened. Maybe take the time just to ask and offer a conversation, and everything can change from that point.
I agree. I think being nice should be the trend. When someone says, oh, so-and-so, Harry Styles is trending or this, I think just being nice should be trending all the time.
I agree.
I
think that's a big thing. We just need more of, because we closed ourselves off for so long. Nobody wanted to get sick. Nobody wanted to take a risk. Nobody wanted to miss work, understandably. But at the same time, we can't live like that forever. Humans are not meant to do that. We count on each other. We wouldn't be where we're at if it weren't for teamwork and each other. So,
and I believe we're the only ones that can help each other.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too cheesy, but I think, like if we wait on someone else to fix our problems or wait on someone else to do it, we're going to wait forever,
No, I totally agree. And that's why I just decided I'm just going to get out there and do this way. And a big thing, and it was not like, I don't know, I not that I was against it or whatever. I just didn't like the idea of giving out cash. These other guys that do it, right on. No, I have nothing against it. I just chose not to, because, and the more I did it this way, the more I found that a lot of people need help just getting those things they would have got with that cash.
Yeah.
Because they can't leave their precious items, all their belongings that are in a shopping cart or their tent or whatever it may be. They can't haul it into Walmart or wherever they're going to go. So having someone go and get it all for them is, a huge step, and it really does help, and they all really appreciate it. And beyond from that, like helping people, through the process, there's been times, the most recent example, this couple that has been living in an RV for quite some time, the goal was to raise enough money to get them to Southern California, where they wanted to go, where they're, I don't want to say from, but the husband is from Southern California. The wife has lived here a long time, but he still has friends and a job opportunity down there. So he wanted to get down there. So the goal was to raise enough money to get them down there in their RV. Come to find out, we did it. We were ready to go. Everything was lined up. And then the RV started overheating. And I was like, okay, so let's see what we got going on here. It turned out to be the water pump was bad. Bearing was about to blow. And that water pump was a water pump from hell. It had every single bolt you could ever imagine going through it. Every mounting bracket on the engine went through that water pump to the block. 17 volts, if I remember correctly. It's a lot for a water pump. I mean, some water pumps only have 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about water pumps all night, but it was a hard one. And funny enough, another guy that I had been helping had been telling me, if I need help with anything, let me know. He has a mechanical background. He wants to help. He loves what I do, and he doesn't have any money or anything, but he's got plenty of time and he'd love to help out. So I enlisted him to help with the water pump, and he dove right in. He replaced the water pump. We got the RV fixed. And then I spent a lot of time, it took 3 days. So I was talking with them a lot throughout the process. And we ended up settling more so on maybe staying in Reno for a couple months, finding a permanent place, well, semi-permanent for the RV where they could work, build up a little bit of savings, and get a little bit more prepared for this trip to California. And I was like, okay, I'm with you. Let's look for a place. Let's get jobs lined up. Let's do whatever it takes. I just want you guys not to have to go parking lot to parking lot and be worried and stressed all the time. Nobody should have to live like that. So the wife ended up getting a job at I forget what it is. It's like a herbal something place. Mm-hmm. They do like herbal remedies and face masks and stuff like that. It was a cool little place. She loved the job. And her husband ended up having, he passed out and fell to the ground one morning. He's only 40, like 41 or something. Still pretty young. Fell to the ground, had to take an ambulance to the hospital. And he ended up having a tear in his aorta. And then after that, had multiple strokes in the hospital. So he's in the hospital now. He's doing better. I used whatever money we had left for the trip to get her a spot in in an RV park, so she's safe and she can go back and forth to see him. And so that's for me, that was a huge confirmation in the fact, like, if I just gave them a handful of money and said, okay, how much is the trip going to cost? It's going to cost this. Here you go. Awesome. I might have had a great video that everybody loved, but it wouldn't have gotten to their destination. And it could have been much worse than that. Much worse.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about what could have happened, but I know what did. And I know that I've been here to help them along the way, and I still am. So it's, again, just one of the reasons why I really stick with people and I don't just hand out money.
Yeah. That's amazing. As you're doing this every day, do you find out ways every day, like new things every day on how you can help people out? Like, you get them the basics, food. I see that you give out the backpacks with, some necessities. Do you ever run across, I could do this to help someone? It's something you hadn't thought of.
All the time. And I ask people a lot of questions. And, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are living in that situation. So they're the experts. So I need to learn from them and not just make assumptions. And a big reason why I'm out there doing it this way, to figure out how I can help better and, what else I can do and what it really takes to get someone off the streets if they're prepared. Not everyone is prepared. Some people rather live where they're at. A lot of people, believe it or not, are not ready to go back inside, as they would say. Mm-hmm. And I know most people who have lived inside forever wouldn't understand that, but a lot of these people are, used to it. And this is,
that's
I don't
their
know,
life now.
Choice. It is. Yeah. That's their life now. So, I'm learning all the time. And the backpacks have just been these are the items that are the most common. And even things that they don't always ask for. Like, I've never had a female actually ask me to get her pads or anything like that. But, my girlfriend's like, I'm sure they need it, even though they don't ask for it. Why don't we just give it to them? And I'm like, yeah, we'll put it in the backpacks. We'll make these backpacks that have, the generic items that everybody needs. And I can hand that to them and get whatever else that they need specifically that's unique to them.
Right on. Let's talk about William and Sandra. That video really, I think, got a lot of people on board. the amazing strides they've made.
Yeah. I mean, and that was something it's so funny. That video that did so well, I didn't intend, I had no idea. I just was, you know what, I'm proud of this. This has been such a long road with them and a lot of hard work. I just feel like I want to compile everything together into this video to show people what it really takes and what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it went crazy. And it's like, whoa, I didn't expect it at all. I never really have expectations, but that one especially, I just kind of put it together because I felt like I had to share that it was, you know, something people needed to see. And they are on board with it. They tell me to share everything. They feel like TikTok stars and they love it. And people notice them all over. Yeah, and it's, in a way, it encourages them. And there was a point in time, like the job that he had gotten in the end of that video, he ended up losing because he got like hit by a car, or kind of, I don't know, not necessarily hit, but kind of ran off the road on his bike, damaged his bike, and he ended up missing work for a couple of days. And that was with through a temp agency, and you know, it was only his second week. And if you miss a couple days and you just start, not a good look. And it didn't work out. So it was tough. And I showed him that video, and he was like, it was funny because after he watched that video, he's like, you know, I really needed that. That was a really good kind of reminder as to how we've gotten where we're at, and a kind of kick in the butt to help, you know, push me to get back on my feet and not give up.
Yeah.
And so even it made a difference even for him, and it's his own video.
His own video inspired him. The video that's kind of inspired a lot of people.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still, you know, there's ups and downs. Nothing's perfect. You know, Sandra's health is not awesome, but it's been worse. And he takes care of her a lot. So it's hard for him to go and work full time when she ends up needing help with things. So we're still working on things. I'm still helping them along the way. And he's had a couple little like gigs that he's done because he's a welder, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to weld. That's his passion. He's done it for over 20 years of his life, and he's, you know, as a welder by trade. And that's what he told me when I first met him. He was wearing a welding jacket the first day I met him, and he, believe it or not, hauled around a welder in a shopping cart and hid it from people and hid it in bushes and wherever he could to make sure it never got stolen. And he would have that so he could work. That's what he wants to do. But so it's hard to find something that would be part-time, or, you know, maybe not 40 or 50 hours a week where he could weld. So he's been doing little side gigs for people. Even there's a family he was fixing handrails for, and you know, their handrails he built that was like over 15 years ago at a motel here. And so when they saw him walking around, they're like, hey, can you fix these? And he was so excited. Couldn't wait. So yeah, and I still actually talk to them almost every day and still help them with little things here or there. It's been an ongoing thing, and they're really good people.
Yeah. They seem like it, you know, and I can imagine how excited he was when, the handrail, when they asked him to fix the handrails that he built several years ago, you know?
Yeah, he was. And he calls me every time. He calls me a lot. And he calls me all the time with little news and like little updates. And we really became friends, you know, and not just, you know, it's happened with everybody. And they all tell me, like, at the end of the day, you're family. Like, you've just done too much to call you anything other than family. And it just, I feel that way too, you know. I mean, and I get off the phone with William, and we each say I love you before we get off the phone with each other, and just like I would to my mom or dad or my brother or whatever, you know. It's no different.
Right on, man. I've noticed one thing that you you always offer or you can get them is a phone. And like a phone these days is so important.
Yeah.
And like to me, that says a lot about you because you're not just, like I said, man, you're not just giving out cash. You're giving out necessities that people can use. Who cares who they're going to call? Everyone needs a phone.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's really funny. You wouldn't expect it, but a lot of them need the phones just to call, like to make doctor's appointments,
Mm-hmm.
or like they're behind on catching up with this visit they were supposed to have, and so now they have a phone and they can reach out again, or they can call a family member. And just because you have a family member and you're out on the streets doesn't mean that your family member is going to take you in, but you still want to talk to people. You still want to hear from them.
Yeah.
You never know the scenario of what happened in the past, but they still want to talk to each other. And, most of the time, and the only time I don't is when I'm too busy or I forget or I'm in a rush, I put my number in there so they can call me. And I get a lot of phone calls. There's a lot I do that's off camera. So,
do you get a lot? You have over 1 million followers on TikTok, correct?
yeah.
And then you have a lot of followers on. Do you get any internet hate? Do you have any trolls that troll you?
Oh yeah.
Because everyone does.
In the beginning, it was bad, and it really, like, I stressed over it, and I felt like, am I doing the wrong thing here? Like, oh man, I don't know. I just doubted a lot of things, and then I just reminded myself that, like, all these people now, the more I do and the more I grow and the more I'm able to help people, and the further I can go with this to getting toward my goals of really just helping people get off the street or give them somewhere safe to park their car or whatever. I have a lot of ideas, but like that's what I'm working toward, and this is still just the beginning. I'm not even a year in.
Yeah.
So I just told myself that they're going to see, and they probably won't come back and comment, go, "Oh wow, this is great. I was skeptical in the beginning." They're not those kind of people, and that's fine. But I there's always I don't know who said it, but if you're not getting some hate, you're probably not doing something right. So
that's true.
There's gonna be some. You cannot please everybody.
No.
There's no way.
No, the internet is it's probably the greatest and worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of people using social media for bad things and just cringe stuff and to get views and whatever it takes. Who cares who I make look bad? I just need to get some views out of this, and that happens all over the place. And that was a big reason why I wanted to do this way, is to be the opposite and use it for good. I just felt like, we can start a movement and make a difference using social media, and TikTok of all things just kind of blew my mind in the beginning, but here we are and it's worked.
Oh. Well, Nate, I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. Like I say, I don't want to sound cheesy, but you inspire me to just be nice. Like that's my thing. I tell everybody, just be nice. It's like the old, Patrick Swayze line from Roadhouse. Just be nice until it's time to not be nice. But man, I love your videos. We don't know each other. I reached out to you and you agreed to do this. Thank you. What you're doing really means a lot to people. And I hope this movement does pick up, and I hope it starts everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep working at it. Got my head down and I'm going, helping people.
Right on.
That's what it's all about.
Where can people find you online?
So
help?
I did just
how can they help?
Well, the best way to help, donations are the easiest because I can get people whatever they need. And it can be any increment. It does not matter. It could be 50 cents, whatever. And then I have Amazon wish lists that help us build the backpacks and get tents and sleeping bags and items like that are very, common. All of that is on justnate.com/links. That link is also in my bio on almost all platforms. So that's there. That's one of the best ways. And even just liking, commenting, watching the videos, that makes a difference too. You're still part of it if you're just being engaged and being involved.
Okay.
But it doesn't take a lot.
All right. I've got one more question for you, and it kind of gets
Sure.
kind of like on your whole, like, I ask for a hug or a handshake. Like, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's everything you do in your videos, but that's my favorite part. Like, ooh, are they going to hug him or are they going to shake his hand? Like, I'm always, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking that's a hugger. That's a hugger. But
that's awesome.
My podcast is called Is Breakfast Included? And if it was included, Nate, what would you have?
Oh, first thing off the top of my head would probably be eggs Benedict.
It's a very popular breakfast.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Any coffee or orange juice or anything?
Oh, coffee's a given. I feel like I don't even have to say that. I'm drinking coffee right now.
Wow. I'm on the East Coast.
I'm
on the East Coast. It's almost 11 o'clock here.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I still have more to do. You know, it's a nonstop thing. I wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., just edit videos, get out there, help people until sundown, come home, do things like this, or answer emails, to do background stuff, comments, whatever, start editing the next video, and so on, and then into the next day. And it's like that at least 5-6 days a week. I'm trying so hard to commit one day off a week for myself, but it's hard because people call me and I can't say no.
Yeah.
So,
well, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you get back to work and, man, keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, no worries, man. So let me ask you this real quick though. A hug or a handshake, which one would it be for you?
I'm a hugger, man.
I knew it. Well, if I could give you a hug right now, I would.
Well, 100%. I'm sure we'll cross paths one day, buddy.
That sounds good. I'm all right with that.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Right on. Just Nate. Great guy. Yeah. Like he said, justnate.com. It links you to everything. Cash App, Venmo, Amazon, wish list for just the basic necessities that these folks need. Check it out. If you can help, every little bit helps. If you can't, just share it. Maybe someone else can help. All right, guys, I am done. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.